Alright folks, welcome to week 12 in Gridiron, Queensland. We thank you for your company no matter where you are coming to us here. We are in the base side of southeast Queensland, the windy base side for the second week in a row. And starting off your first of two games here for Gridiron Queensland, brought to you by live streaming Brisbane, is the final game for the regular season for the women's division for these two teams. Full division bye next week for both these teams ahead of the playoffs of the Sunshine Coast in a fortnight. We've got the number 2 ranked Bayside Ravens, Gold Coast Stingrays, my apologies, taking the number 3 ranked Bayside Ravens, playing here at home, as you can see in the ladder ahead of us. Just to remind everyone, it is a 3-team playoff series for the women's division. The Thunder, regardless of the result today, will be heading to the Sun Bowl. They've booked their ticket already and will be heading up to the Sunshine Coast for nothing more than scouting purposes. The Stingrays and the Ravens, however, they've booked themselves a date in 2 weeks' time to the Sunshine Coast. I'm Connie Andreas. I'm going to be talking through both the games, and joining me for at least this women's game to begin with is a very, very successful Colts offense coordinator there next to me, and Connor Brewster. Mate, you've just come off a huge win, soon to be capping off a huge season for your Colts.
Yeah, most certainly. 10-0. 10-0 is always good. 12-0 is always better, of course. Keep looking forwards. But great regular season. A lot of talent on the team. Put it all together was the main thing.
Absolutely. We'll certainly be catching some Colts action come the playoffs in 2 weeks. And obviously headlined by your Gold Coast Stingrays.
Yes.
And we'll soon see where your combatants for that game up at Sunshine Coast. Right, for now though, we've got a preview of the game in 2 weeks with these two teams, and it's always interesting when you've got two teams who know they're going to be meeting each other in the playoffs. How much are they going to show? Who wants to win? Who wants to rest their players? We actually don't know until the game goes forward. We had a similar situation last year. Ravens already locked up a Sun Bowl position. They ended up going a little more conservative this year on the other end of the spectrum. They'll be playing from what looks like position number 3 if they can't get a victory today.
Exactly, most certainly. And I mean, I guess it's similar to the start of the season. In fact, a lot of, especially being Gridiron, like a lot of rookies, teams develop so much through the year, and being so close to the playoffs, it's kind of the opposite now. The teams have developed, and now they don't want to show how much they've developed. And especially knowing that you were back-to-back 2 weeks, you'd have to imagine this will be somewhat of a bland game of sorts. Nothing too fancy.
Cody Fuller boots us downfield. It will be returnable, and Sade Kelly will be said returner. Actually confused her for a former player. Earlier today when I walked past her, I pointed her, assuming she was former Raven, Ruth Malolo Vafusuwaga, who had possibly jumped up from Victoria, but no, it is the outstanding rookie in Sade Kelly, looking to continue her strong rookie season so far. So for those just tuning in, the Ravens won the toss, or at least elected to receive the kickoff here. And I'll tell you, for anyone watching last week, and you constantly heard us go on about the breeze, yeah, your lead commentator thought it'd be a great idea to jump out into the elements, and we are calling from the sideline today, so we are going to be amongst this breeze. And I'll tell you what, it's exactly the same as last week. This first pass is thrown up into the direction of Marissa Hayes, who was very quiet last week, didn't get used a whole lot. Obviously starting this week. Connor, before I bring you in further, we'll say that pass was indeed thrown by usual cornerback Brittany Todd, making her first career start at quarterback.
Love it. Obviously having your first start game before the playoffs, it's good. I guess another thing that we were saying about not showing too much, getting other people opportunities to perform and really put something on display.
Here she goes again, 2 straight passes to start her quarterback career,
Intercepted.
And the second of which has been picked off here by guess who? None other than Kelsey Jensen, Riley Hodgson, my apologies, who gets run out of bounds. Late flags come flying in towards the end of that play.
Just a pass floated across the middle there, probably a little high for the receiver. DB in a good position at a good time. Not sure what the flag could be, possibly a block in the back. We'll wait to see.
Perhaps. Yep, I think you might have nailed it.
Yep.
Block in the back on the return, that would have been post-intercept, so the Stingrays certainly will be keeping possession, as you saw, first down there. Look, brave decision by head coach Pete Davies there, who not only with a career starting quarterback, but this breeze deciding to throw into it for 2 plays and open the game. Yeah,
most certainly. It's a bit of an odd call, I must say, but at the same time, it is. I guess the term throwaway game isn't a good one, but at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity here to just try new things, take a lot of chances, knowing that there isn't really anything super high stake on the line.
Exactly right. On the other end of the spectrum, here comes All-Australian and most capped quarterback in number 7, Lauren Evans, ready to go on another ride into the playoffs.
How many would that be for her?
Well, I was doing some numbers earlier in the year with her, and she said she missed obviously a game back in round 5, I think it was, and that was the first game in 8 years she hasn't missed.
Wow.
And the Stingrays have been in pretty much all the playoff series since the start of
exactly.
the FGLQ.
Eli Manning of the league, I suppose.
More or less.
Ironman football.
Should be stoked right now. Big 49ers fan, coming off a big 49ers win
Ooh,
yesterday.
yes.
Here she goes, starting her first play of the day with a pass, looking for the tall Renee Scanlon, incomplete, second down.
Looks like throwing across the middle there, and Lauren throwing a little bit lower as to try and not get the ball in the wind. Still falls incomplete, but looks like they may try and air the ball out a bit early, even with the wind in play.
Ravens have only one down lineman, but they rush, Hayes. This is to Cody Fuller, hits her in the hands, can't bring it in, incomplete. They'll have a 3rd and 10 ball at the 26.
Yeah, reasonably well thrown ball there, probably a touch high even, but through the hands of the receiver there. As a coach, you'd love to see those ones caught.
Worth noting as well, playing in her second game in back-to-back weeks, Christy Moran had an amazing game at running back last week in a position she was almost sure she wasn't going to play. Here she is starting at safety in place of usual defensive captain Candice Weasley.
Third straight passing play here by the looks of it.
Underneath, this pass is caught. Kelsey Jensen, running back, following for some blockers. And then it's the rookie Peaver taking it down from behind on 3rd down. And that's not enough. It's awfully close though, but they'll be a yard short. They've got 4th and 1.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see their first run of the day here, or they may try and get aggressive again and pass. I'd really doubt it though.
How about that? First 5 plays in a day like this, both offenses happy
Yeah.
to throw the ball.
Yeah, I guess as we said, the chances are being thrown quite literally.
All right, 4th and 1. Evans is back with Jensen.
Looks like a bit more of a compact formation. I would say run.
And you are correct. Jensen squirts through. Flag's thrown. Save for the flag. She's got a first down.
Nice solid run on the inside there. Probably about a 3-4 yard gain. Pretty consistent there. As the flag being thrown that close to the line, I'd say hold. Does look like a hold.
It's a hold and it's against the Stingrays. Obviously, that'll move them back and that'll give the Ravens another opportunity to try and earn this ball back. What was a 4th and 1 and was pretty manageable. Now turns back into a 4th and 11.
4th and 11. Now, I'd say that we're going to likely be seeing our 6th pass of the day. Wind picking up before this play as well could make things a little bit trickier.
It's hard to gauge it, but I would have to say that it's probably coming across left to right on your screen, favouring the camera side here, blowing pretty much into our faces. Of course, that could be the little booth we've set up here that's affecting that. Evans now, the left-hander, throwing to the left side, looking for her favourite outside receiver, and Cody Fuller again can't connect. Turnover on downs. And just to give you an idea, we're going to look at these flags, and as you can see where those flags are blowing, last week it was blowing hard down the field. This one's blowing across the field, at least for this portion of the game. So it's going to be hard getting the accuracy back in, as you see us back in a beautifully makeshift booth created here by Paul Mills from LSB, keeping us out of the sun and somewhat protected from the wind. But yeah, no, throwing across the field, it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be the issue of overthrowing or underthrowing your receivers. It's going to be trying to get it right on target. Back on offense here. And this is a give to Peaver. Peaver had a strong game last week from the running back position. Managed to get back to the line of scrimmage on her first play this week.
Yeah, it looks like a very short gain there. Looks like maybe one and a bit yards. Looks like with the wind picking up, yeah, it's actually quite odd because this morning I got here for the juniors game. It was very, very heavy rain, very cloudy. Now, as I'm sure you can see, it's very bright and sunny, but the wind has stuck around. So
according to our local weather guides, the chance of rain has moved down to a 0% chance, so we should be safe. But we've been wrong before, as another run takes place here for the Ravens on second down. They get another yard out of that, so now we're looking at third, and we'll call it a long 7. It'll be third and long regardless. Now, I keep speaking hypothetically about this win, but as you said, you obviously was here for the juniors and then you coached the whole Colts game, innit?
Yep.
How did the win affect your game? Obviously, not too detrimentally. You came away with a 30-0
No,
victory.
most certainly not. The wind's actually really picked up in the last sort of 20 minutes, half an hour or so, actually. Really didn't affect the Colts game. As I said, the juniors game was quite wet at the start, but did dry out pretty quickly. But yeah, the Colts did not have much issue with the wind.
Back here on the third down, another pass attempt, and Hayes did have a step there on young Kiralee Keynes, but the pass can't make it to her, and it looks like Brittany Todd still finding her groove at quarterback. A fourth down now, and it looks like Todd has been given a play call. She very well, nope, here she comes now. I thought for a second they might have been considering going for it in their own half here. They've sent Hayes out to punt. Or have they? Todd's back out there, but is she as a corner, or is she out there as a quarterback? Looks like she's out there as a gunner.
Looks like they may be a little bit confused. Oh, it looks like they do know what they're doing. Looks like quite an odd punting formation, if I do say so myself. But
Yeah, look at that. No one up front, bringing everyone back. We've constantly seen the punt formation. The thing is, though, did they have enough on the line of scrimmage?
I'm not sure there. I feel like there
And this
will be
will
some questions
returned.
asked.
Everyone kind of looked at each other for a hot second there.
There is a flag down on the field from what I see, down near the line of scrimmage.
So for that to have been eligible, Todd would have had to been on the line. The two gunners would have had to be on the line.
Yeah.
And then they would have had to have two. You would have to have 5 of them, no?
Yes. Generally, it is only 4 in the backfield. That is the rule.
Obviously
so.
in a 9-player format that the women's
Yes.
division is played in, yeah.
Yeah. 5 in the backfield is normally the penalty called, so I guess we'll see illegal formation here.
Yep, nailed it. So it's like we know the rules a little bit.
Yeah. Like we have some idea what we're saying right now. Normally an extra 5 yards tacked on here, I believe.
The question is, will the Stingrays opt to take that? I didn't actually see the result of that. And it looks like, given Evans is out there already calling a play, they'll just take the result of the play.
Plus the 5 by the looks
Plus
of
the
it.
5, obviously, which is being marked off now.
And there's the 5 yards right there. Cool.
So here's Evans, denied on their first offensive drive. Trying to make amends for that now. Jensen on the swing now. That is Isla Cook laying the lumber in the backfield. And that's something I've said both in all the divisions I've called this year. Doesn't happen enough with all these swings and stuff like that, with running backs being more favoured targets in the backfield. You're allowed to hit them.
Most certainly, yeah. Probably a bit harsh to call that specifically a hospital ball there, but it certainly was a little bit of an errant
call it as
throw.
you see it, mate. Call it. I know
Was a
you're
little bit of an
representing the
errant
Stingrays, mate.
Yeah. Personally, as you're a fullback as well, I did play a bit of running back and fullback. I'll be having words with the quarterback after that throw, saying possibly not next time, please.
See, I didn't though, because my quarterback would throw me so few passes, I'd take whatever I got. Underneath to Fuller, and Fuller can't bring in this attempt, and that's a third down. So right now, this is going to be a battle of the defenses, at least for this first quarter.
Yeah, most certainly. It looks like that throw was slightly overthrown, but you have to think, did the wind play a factor? Possibly pushing a little bit further than Evans would have expected it.
Third down and 10. And we've got a spread formation, and it will be a give, a end around here to Hodgson, but Hayes is there to stop her, and eventually
Big loss there.
the help of Alex Aarons comes in as well, and that's another big stop on third down. This will make it a 4th and double sticks, and will encourage the Stingrays to consider punting. For the quarterback like Evans, you're probably more than happy to go for it.
4th and 15 there by the looks of it, and I'm sure looks like Lauren is still on the field. I'm not sure if this is their regular punt formation or not, but to see the quarterback in a wing-back spot.
Cody Fuller's back to punt this, and that she will. She keeps it low, away from the wind as much as she can. It's actually going to be a great
good punt.
And that's going to fall out of bounds around the 5. They'll mark it at the 6. A fantastic punt there from Cody Fuller.
Great punt there, great dribbler. And it does look like, I think it was at about the 10, Kenny. Just a little bit more. As you said, as Stingrays rep, I would have loved it to be the 5. But
Cody got bonuses in a makeshift contract about punts inside the 5.
Yes, of course, of course. Interesting to see what the Ravens do now. There has not been much success through the air with the amount of passes that have been thrown. You'd have to think at one point one of these teams will decide to really commit to the ground game.
And right now this wind is sort of leveling the playing field a little bit. Evans having trouble finding it because the wind is so dramatic, and this pitch play hits a Stingray's arm, and unfortunately the heads-up play of Todd keeps that at the 1 opposed to being a safety.
Very, very smart play there from Todd to just drop on the ball itself rather than trying to make something out of nothing. Being on the 1 there, even though part of her was in the end zone, it is still the ball on the 1, so it is not a safety. Now they do run the risk, though, being on the 1-yard line. If the Stingrays can get a bit of pressure here, especially through the middle, we could see the first 2 points of the game.
Myra O'Connor there blitzing off the edge and causing that drama. Now, I dare say it, is it almost an 1,000 IQ play here just to possibly take the safety when considering the fumble issues that this Ravens offense had last week?
You'd think so. Or neutral, possibly in the neutral zone.
Ottawa Tulloch showed blitz, and they'll get out of bounds here. Moran at running back.
Looks like the Ravens actually got the Stingrays to jump there by my guess. Looks like the blitzing linebacker there, number 41, was in the neutral zone as the ball was snapped.
It's certainly clear to see on replay there.
Yeah. So it does look like the Ravens have used a get-out-of-jail-free card here by the looks of it.
And that's a Bill Belichick play right there. I think there's one Hard Knocks episode or something like that where he talks about when you're on the back of the line there, what happens if you do a false start? You move back, 4 inches?
Exactly.
Whereas the defense, they've got a lot more to lose in that particular situation.
Exactly.
It's hard count city when you're backed up in your own end zone like that.
Most certainly. Speaking of Bill Belichick, I'm sure you saw it, his very recent antics with the Jets.
The Jets.
The delay of game and the forced false start.
Not even Bill Belichick could hide the little smirk.
No, most certainly not.
Still trying to give the Jets grief, and now the Ravens will return the favour with a false start, speaking of which.
Looks like the Ravens not doing themselves any favours right now. Looks like they're going to move back a little bit more.
Distance.
And looks like we're still on the imminent threat of the first 2 points of the game.
And with 9-man football, with obviously being condensed at the line of scrimmage, do you even tempt the idea of a toss or anything like this, or is this a straight handoff up the guts, risk minimising any sort of exchange issues?
Personally, my call here would be a dive run to the right with the hole from the Stingrays' defensive line alignment. That's my call with the fullback leading. We'll see what they do.
Either in as a fullback, and they will stretch it out to the right. Moran cuts back, and that's enough to keep him in the field of play there on second down. They do actually lose a half a yard, maybe even just a couple of inches on that play.
Looks like the Stingrays there got some pretty good penetration on the defensive line, really stopped that run getting lateral like the Ravens tried to achieve there. As we have things flying around from the wind, water bottles going everywhere.
Stingrays are trying to be first team on the board here defensively, and right now we've got some receivers spread very wide for the Ravens. They'll pitch to Moran. Moran can't handle the pitch there. O'Connor's in pursuit, and again for the 4th time in a row, the Ravens do just enough to keep 2 points off the board.
Yeah, most certainly. It looked like if we look at a replay there, the slot receiver at the bottom of your screen was uncovered there. The safety was sitting about 12 to 15 yards off, so it looks like the Ravens may have missed an opportunity there to have a quick pass and just make something happen.
You've got a quarterback in her first start.
Yeah.
Some of these fundamental plays aren't as easy as they are with, say, an 8-year starter.
Exactly.
As we have with Evans on the other side of the field.
Looks like the Ravens have changed. They do have only 4 in the backfield now.
Hayes with literally her heels on the back of her own end zone, gets a good punt out, but she's kicking to one of, if not the best punt returner in the game right now. And Hodgson patiently waiting for blocks, looking to the outside now, trying to get it to the 10s, out of bounds at the 11. And once again, great field position for the Gold Coast Stingrays. Multiple flags down at the end of that punt though.
Looks like there are 2 flags near the middle of the field. I'm guessing they're probably for the same thing, being so close to each other, but you never know. Looks like the referee's having a quick discussion about it. Give them the thumbs up.
Tea party there. Obviously, along with it's a big Stingray, pretty much camp down here at Kitchener Park. All 4 divisions, juniors, Colts, women's and men's playing here today, all the way throughout the day. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, the juniors this morning played the Rhinos juniors, as the Ravens don't field a team in that division. But yeah, the rest of the day is the rivalry between the Stingrays and the Ravens.
And I'll tell you what, this hasn't been a bad way for you guys to close out your season as a club for the last 3 weeks. Effectively,
yeah,
you've had
most certainly.
the whole team's all together.
Yep.
You're coming off 3 home games. This women's team in particular as well. 3 home games in the last 3 weeks, and they've certainly benefited, I should say, from it. First down and 10. Jensen trusted to carry it. Meets a lot of pressure right now and still picks up a yard though, despite early contact in the backfield. In fact, almost picks up 2.
Good tough running there between the tackles, or between the guards, I guess, in 9-man football. Looks like the Stingrays getting even a slightly more compact, pulling in a wing back there to the top of the screen. Maybe getting an extra blocker in the box to see if they can form some form of a reliable run game.
Just looking at the weeks that have been, as I said, for the Gold Coast Stingrays, coming off 3 wins since their full division to bye in round 8, and we've got a change of quarter now. So no score throughout the first quarter of play as we move into the second. See on the screen there. Change, and both teams take a long walk down there. But yeah, the weeks that have been a very, very good set of weeks for the Gold Coast Stingrays women's side. A loss, my apologies, 2 weeks ago against the Thunder, but since then had a close win against the Ravens, and then a huge blowout against the Raptors a week ago. And then for the Ravens women's, they're trying to bring in the momentum they brought last week from taking down the Thunder for the second time this season, as the only team to beat the Thunder so far heading into the final game of the season.
You'd have to think with that kind of momentum for the Ravens, at least against the Thunder would be hoping at least next week that the Stingrays are the victors.
Well, yeah, I've talked about it throughout the games of any of these teams being involved. There's been a crazy, weird power triangle going on in the women's division over the last 4 years since the Ravens have come in. You know, the Ravens have had the stick over the Rays, and the Rays haven't been able to beat the Thunder, and the Thunder can beat the Ravens. It's a weird triangle of
yes, most certainly,
of rock paper scissors going on in the women's division over the last couple of years. And the Stingrays, unfortunately, they've always been running into the Thunder in the playoffs, which proved to be a bogey side for them in recent years. This year, they can have their opportunity against the Ravens, and this is Piva taking Evans down as we return to live action. That sets them up for 3rd and long.
Looks like that blitzer came fully free protection there, broke down for the Stingrays, opening up in that topside A gap. Blitzer came straight through. Looks like the running back didn't really know who to pick up there. Number 14 there didn't fill the gap, and as a result, loss of about 6 or 7, would you say, Kenny?
Sounds about right. 3rd and double sticks. And let's see if she goes to her favourite deep threat in Cody Fuller, matched up near side wide receiver here with Natsuko Kutris, and they'll go to the ground on 3rd down, trying to get a few more yards for 4th down, but that actually backfires on them. They lose another 2 in the process, and now we've got close to 4th and 20.
Yeah, I thought it was quite odd there seeing a fullback in on a 3rd and very long. It looks like the toss play, looks like number 13 there from the inside linebacker position came through, made the play.
It's weird, they move her around. She's actually been playing a lot of defensive end this year on the defense side of the ball, and she's a player who made her trade, or applied her trade at wide receiver for the bulk of her career, and only in the last 2 years as she's been trialed in other positions, she's actually found a bit of a home at defensive end, where she's been able to use some of that length that she uses a wide receiver at the defensive end position, and she can find the outside really quickly.
Yeah, most certainly. Made a very nice play there to set up 4th and about, or wouldn't be short off 20.
Yeah, we're looking at probably 4th and at least 17. Evans throwing for Fuller. I don't know if there was a miscommunication or routes there. Fuller went inside, Evans went outside there, so that'll be a turnover and downs. And top of the second quarter, we still are yet to see either of these teams cross the plane.
Yeah, it looks like there could have been a slight miscommunication there. As you said, Evans threw outside rather, the receiver came inside, so Evans probably kicking herself there. It does look like she is calling her own plays on the field.
Yeah,
so
she's effectively the OC of this team, and she's earned that trust, being pretty much the most experienced quarterback in the league as far as snaps taken.
most certainly, yeah.
And we've got a timeout here.
It's like a bit of water there. Ravens calling the timeout.
Yeah, just going back to the headsets, the mindsets of these two teams. The Ravens, I was speaking to head coach Pete Davies beforehand, and he goes, yes, effectively in the grand scheme of it, it doesn't change anything. Even in the rare case, I did actually ask him throughout the week that, are you concerned about trying to get second place? Because if, God forbid, we have one of those crazy weekends of weather during playoff football, then we all know that the top-seeded team will progress depending on when the game gets called. Is that on your mind? And he goes, well, it would have been. It's not a factor. But he did tell me earlier today, before the game, he said, we want to win. We need to prove to ourselves that we can beat this side, especially when we're going to be meeting them in a fortnight. Because the Stingrays, they've got the stick on them this year. They're 0-3, the Ravens, against the Stingrays this year after improving that record against the Rays the last 2 years under Coach Fitzpatrick, who actually makes a bit of a temporary return to the Ravens this week in the absence of Ike Summerfield, who's in Japan on holidays for the next 2 weeks, so he'll actually possibly miss the playoffs as well. But yeah, he's returning the head coach of the last two Sun Bowl victories for the women's division. As you can see him have a bit of fun with his defensive players this week.
Most certainly, yeah. It's like a bit of dancing from the Ravens sideline there to the
it was
good old music.
Also a good effort there from Pete Davies not to let ego get in the way. Sometimes it can be a bit awkward having someone return back to the house you're trying to build. But he knows the value added with Gerard coming in, especially with Ike being away. And this is a pitch to Moran, and it's in front of her.
Ball down.
And yeah, ball will be down and having a bit of an issue there, but what can you expect? It's a quarterback taking her first start, though she has been practicing in the second string position for most of this season. It is understood she has been the clear second string option this year if things were to go down, and you can't talk second string without talking first string quarterback. And Elliot Shulman, the starter for this entire season, is given a week off for rest this week. Of course, she did have a tough week last week dealing with the light spline in the late game here at Kitchener Park, and also the wind, and that makes even the easiest of things quite difficult to achieve. And I think we're seeing that this week, but this time it is handled from Moran, who threatens early, but the Stingrays defense seems to be keeping a lid on her.
Yeah, it looks like they're just really hard outside contain. They're forcing her back inside towards where the more numbers are, I guess I should say, rather, number 41. They're making a good tackle to hold her up.
Ottawa Tulloch, one of the final linebackers in this competition.
It's like second and about 8 here now.
You see number 3 on your screen. That's Kirili Keens, who I've called once or twice here, and she's become a regular. She's obviously one of your Colts there.
Yes, she is. I was about to say shout out to her.
Slowly become a regular part of this women's side that she'll soon graduate to. And another miscommunication and a huge hit behind the line of scrimmage there, and Todd might be giving a few apologies there.
Most certainly. I think the offensive line might be giving a couple apologies as well. Straight through the B gap there and absolutely leveled in the backfield.
And that is coming through. That is Hinimoa Barbrich coming through, and that's something she does well. And you can see what they were trying to do there. They were trying to pull and get front side with the pulling guards, but sometimes when you've got an athlete as good as Barbrich there who can make up that speed, that actually dead set remind me of what Jesse Williams used to do in this competition. People would try to pull guards on him, and well, this time they get a free play. Todd looking downfield.
Throwing the ball out.
Overthrown. The Ravens will at least get 5 yards for the result of the offside here. But yeah, I saw so many different teams. Actually, I called back to a game with Jesse Williams. It was one of the Down Under Bowls where they were trying to trap block Williams the entire time, but he was simply too fast. And
too fast getting downfield.
These 150-pound running backs, even though they were from America, getting absolutely clobbered by a defensive lineman that they had never seen move the way he did.
No, most certainly not. Sadly, I'm a bit young to have seen Jesse play here, but obviously his days at Alabama.
See, fortunately, you were young enough to never get hit by him as well.
Yeah. Most certainly.
3rd down and 5, but yes, Jesse obviously a trailblazer, if you will, and many of them obviously ahead of what he did, but his happened to draw a lot of attention, getting the attention of Alabama, and then obviously getting drafted by the Seahawks.
Yep.
Todd to Hayes, and Todd gets her first career completion. It's a slant route to Marissa Hayes, the All-Australian, a wide receiver, and she does a lot after the catch, in fact, to not only get the first down, but add a few more.
Great play. That looks about to get his 17 on Kiralee Keynes there. Just a quick inside breaking route and just good run after the catch. She was almost gone if it was not for Riley Hodgson's ankle tackle there, dragging her down.
Tulloch finishing off the job as well. Yeah, you got a bit of talk about contrasts of experience with the quarterbacks here. Now you've got Marissa Hayes matching up with Kiralee Keynes. Not in this instance though. It turns out Big Clement's going to move out to wide receiver.
Looks like they may be going for a size mismatch here if they do pass the ball.
Can't handle the snap.
She did look that way first. She's going to keep it.
And Todd will just take this forward. Now Todd, we forget that she's an athlete in her own right, an Australian defensive back, and that time reminds everyone that she can move a little bit too.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Hodgson again, that was another big run there. Looks like she did look early for the matchup between 21 and on Kiralee Keynes. But good athletic play there.
And you see on the sideline there, actually, we just talked about her a second ago, Ellie Sharman, the quarterback, the starting quarterback for the Ravens there, jumping up in excitement for her teammate, filling in for her position this week.
Exactly. As you alluded to before, this isn't so much of a on-paper game for the Ravens as it is a mental matchup. They have to win this game.
First down and 10. Moran in the backfield. They'll pitch it out to her. It's a clean pitch this time. She goes inside, then she goes outside.
Big
now
lane
she's
outside.
turning on the Jets. She cuts it up field, still shaking tacklers, and eventually Cody Fuller cleans her up over the top. Myra O'Connor underneath.
Great blocking there from the Ravens on the outside to seal that edge there. Looks like the wide receiver blocking the DB inside. Great blocks there.
Yeah, Karen Christian doing a wonderful job. Actually had a good couple of catches last week as in carries as well. This time so far being used more for her blocking prowess. Ravens now. Moss being on the back foot for much of the first quarter. In fact, had several plays from inside their own 5. Now have the opportunity to be the first team on the board here, and when we're midway through the second quarter. Timeout now to the Stingrays, in fact.
I think that's a good timeout call there. Stingrays, ball being moved down the field on the right now. The Ravens are driving. Good call there. Just
take away some of the momentum from the
just
Ravens.
Settle things, have some water, talk over your calls, make sure everyone's assignments, they know what they're doing, and set up again, ready for the Ravens to knock on the end zone door.
Just in the back of the huddle there, and 2 of the players not in kit. They're 2 players that the Stingrays would have loved to have been on the field right about now. 2 defensive players there in usual veterans, and Ella Briscoe, and of course number 21 Amy Henry, who was scheduled to have a big season before that changed in towards the 4th quarter of the first game of the season against the Thunder, where she unfortunately had a knee injury that's set her back another season, and Ella Briscoe with a hand injury that she opted to take surgery for this year. So right now they're leaning on them for their experience and coaching talents to try and get them through the postseason ahead.
Most certainly, just because you can't play doesn't mean you can't contribute at the end of the day, especially with a lot of young players, a lot of rookies coming through, younger players and rookies coming through.
And this period is probably important for the women's division as a whole for a lot of those players. Now, we're at the point now we're going to see people who started this league heading towards retirement. Not saying that either of those 2 ladies are heading that direction, but anytime soon. But obviously it's probably good for them to develop that and hopefully contribute as coaches when their playing days are eventually done. Incomplete there, the pass intended to Hayes. Coverage on the play was Kiralee Keynes.
Yeah, good coverage there. Looks like the ball did bounce off the hands. So a bit of a tough opportunity there. Would not be surprised here to see them go to another pass. After all, it is 2nd down. They do only have 5 yards. 3rd down and 4th down, I would expect runs though. Looks like getting a bit compact again for the Ravens.
Here they go again on 2nd down. Is it a speed option or is it a keeper? It looks like it will be a keeper to Brittany Todd, and Brittany Todd
to the end zone.
Squirts her way to the end zone past a few defenders. A job well done from the woman in her first career starter quarterback. There's her first touchdown as QB1.
Great run there by Todd to cut back into the middle, see the lane, break a couple arm tackles and get the ball into the end zone. Looks like they are going to be going for 2 points. Yeah, Stingrays defense, they look to be flowing very hard outside, and then the cutback lane just emerged. Todd had the vision to take it, and into the end zone she went.
Here we go, 2-point conversion. No flags on that last play. The score stands 6-0 right now in favour of the home side. And they'll pitch it out to Moran, and Myra O'Connor can't get that in time. It was an all or nothing play for her, and she gets nothing, and the Ravens get 2 points. 8-0 midway through the second quarter.
Looks like Moran just showed a great burst out of the backfield there just to beat 36 to the spot, and into no man's land she went for the 2 points.
Stingrays obviously very aware of that pitch play, and for the most part, they've been all on top of that, whether that's getting container Moran. Right now, it looks like the Ravens have countered by trying to either if it's just getting their timing correct, or they've actually extended the length of that pitch.
It does look like Moran did take a very, very wide line there. As O'Connor did almost have an opportunity to bat that ball down, like I believe she did earlier.
Yeah,
so looks like they may have worked the timing a little bit as well.
Take another look at that just while the two teams are going at it.
I
think it could be a matter of both there. The timing is a lot better, but I'm just cautious. O'Connor was awfully close to knocking that ball down.
Oh, yeah, she was. About another split second, just a finger on that ball. There may have been some serious issues there for the Ravens, but nonetheless, ball went into the end zone. It is 8-0.
Pretty clear that the Ravens trying to get outside, and that's been a signature of the Stingrays' defense of past, especially when Amy Henry's was one of those linebackers on the outside. They love to try and keep that game within the tackle box.
Yeah,
they'll happily send outside linebackers at defensive end wide and hard to try to keep that contained. And unless you somehow find a way to get outside them, it can be a long day for offenses.
Oh, definitely. Defensive players are drilled. Contain, contain, contain. You have help inside. You don't have help outside. Looks like a short kick here.
And this will be into the hands of 17. And that's Jessica Norcliffe getting a kick return technically. And they'll start just inside the Ravens territory, about 3 yards deep.
Looks like they may have been trying to prey on a player they suspected wasn't going to be able to catch the ball, but 17 there. Very, very clean catch. Good run. Jessica Norcliffe.
That's something the Ravens have been doing deliberately. I don't know if they're just trying to find some soft space there and hope that they can hope that they can cause a bit of havoc and maybe force a fumble or get there beforehand, but it's something they've committed to the last couple of times I've seen them play.
Yeah, I guess it's really hit or miss, because you either try and kick it deep and say bet on the return, start at the 25, 30-ish, but the Stingrays do start the ball in very good field position right now at about the 43.
And it's also a sign of respect they have for this defense.
Most certainly, yeah.
Give it up the middle there to Jensen. Jensen still consistently giving them a bit of production on the ground there. That's a solid 3-yard gain.
Yeah, good run inside there. Yeah, good run inside there, good blocking, good lead up the middle there from the split back formation. And in the end, 3-yard gain.
Now that's the 2-minute warning now. There's been a lot of running in this play. This game pretty much going to time though. For every run we've had an incomplete pass with this win. So
yeah, definitely.
The Stingrays have an opportunity to tie this up just inside halfway, and 2 minutes to do it.
I suppose the risk the Stingrays are running here is that, yes, they do need to try and run the ball here. Looks like they will go to the inside run again. But at the same time, every time this ball is still in play, the clock keeps running.
Todd working double shift this week, something I haven't mentioned. Yes, she's starting at quarterback, but she's also starting at linebacker.
Yes.
Let's see how she goes in the fourth quarter.
Oh, most definitely. It is quite a hot day as well. It's a bit of baking heat. It is windy, but the heat it's quite a lot. Being out in the sun for the last 4 or 5 hours myself, I can certainly tell you it is very draining.
Got the long sleeves out. Fortunately, the Stingrays were wise enough to put their stuff in white.
Yes, most certainly.
Of the season.
Oh, most definitely.
I'm just looking at the Ravens sideline. There's a lot of black on that sideline.
Yeah, it's very, very hot.
The coaching
very
staff,
hot, I can imagine.
Pete Davies, he's doing what he can to keep cool out there.
Looks like Jensen left the game. It looks like she was rolled up on just then in the tackle.
I thought she was making her way back to the huddle, and then she walked
kept
away
going,
to the sideline. It was a good rib tackle, I guess, by by quarterback or linebacker Brittany Todd. And yeah, Jensen might just take a play off here.
Looks like Tulloch's now back in the backfield.
This
Takes
is dangerous.
the pitch,
Tulloch is powerful.
getting outside, breaking through an arm tackle, and getting out of bounds by the looks of it. The clock will stop now, and it is a first down.
Oh, no, truly. Aroa Tulloch here, no stranger to the running back position. Played a lot there under her mother when she was playing at the Brisbane Rhinos and all the previous teams she's played on, including the Stingrays. And, well, Stingrays opting to take a timeout despite getting out of bounds.
Yeah. The
Just
clock,
want to talk about a few things.
the clock would have stopped, but it does look like they're going to take the time out anyway to talk things over in a bit more of a calm manner. Take the minute instead of the 30, 40 seconds they get.
Ravens going to be stoked about that. That's just one timeout.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. Especially, as we were saying, the running game, with the wind, running game is seeming like the option here. And the next time the ball is in play, the Stingrays only have 2 more chances to stop the clock. I'd have to imagine, you'd guess probably about a minute 20, minute 30 left, thereabouts.
Yeah, maybe even, yeah, probably a bit less. They it was 2 minutes, they ran one play, and then there's probably a bit more time than that. There's right on cue a timeout called when I imagine race 8 at Flemington is probably going on behind us there from the sounds of the Yahoos out of the TAB spot of the Wynnum Manly Juniors Leagues Club going off. And you can see another player. We talk about players that are like on the field, particularly defensively. You can see there rocking the bandana and shades look is Tiafi Thurston, who's still out for injury, and it's yet to see whether that'll keep her out of the playoffs. Just in street clothes and Stingray apparel this week, as she's there as a supporter rather than a player.
Yeah. In a game like this, it is always better to err on the side of caution for some injuries, so wouldn't be surprised even if she was questionable.
Cody Fuller in the slot this time.
Batted down there.
Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Marissa Hayes there, and well, Cody Fuller's now moved inside to the slot, usually a wide receiver. Perhaps that's just them trying to find a way to get her a little closer to Evans in this wind.
I was just about to say that, yeah, that's my first thought. Get her on some shorter routes, take the wind out of play as much as possible and get those short, sharp completions and just let her do something after the catch.
Tell you what, this is one of those advantages where Evans' height really comes into play here when you don't have to put as much loft on that ball because you're naturally shorter in stature and you've got to throw over your offensive line.
Exactly,
she's
yeah.
got that passing lane where she can just drive it, and it makes a world of difference. Oh, great protection from Tulloch, but Evans still under pressure. She had to roll out to her left there, and despite the efforts of Ottawa, the rest of the troops come in and take Evans down for a 3rd sack today.
Yeah.
Another timeout here, called by the Stingrays.
Stingrays there getting quite compact with the double wing formation. Tulloch coming through, linebacker coming through clean on the blitz, and Tulloch very firmly said, "No, you are not touching my quarterback."
Well, at least that side wasn't going to touch the quarterback. The rest of the other side came in.
Yes. The rest of the protection did not hold up. But
you can only block one player.
Exactly.
Just looking at Kira Lee Keynes on the sideline, just in the background, number 3.
Yep.
You can really see the relation between her and Kai.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, and Kai will hate me for saying this, but I do believe Kira Lee they're about the same height as someone that's played with Kai for 3 years, I'd say rather. The one person I do not want to get hit by in the entire league is him, but possibly Connor Ellis as well. But Kai, a very, very hard hitter. Kira Lee just really, the only way to put it is really disregard for her safety. Yeah. She just flies at legs. She's a very, very short tackler, at least in the Colts division.
She does have that reckless abandon
that
seems to be a trait in the Keynes family.
Yeah, almost.
And I say that as a compliment.
Oh, most certainly. Kira Lee generally plays inside, outside backer for the Colts team, but now on the women's team. I do want to call attention
to something as well. I saw her on social media there with Coach Tonga Kilo going with what I would have to be a first in the nation in the Colts division, an all-female captaincy and D-line, or all-female D-line?
Yes, in the juniors division, yeah. Yeah, it was Neve Tompkins, Kaylee Tonga Kilo, yes, there is relation to Lance, and Laurelie Clifford, 3-girl D-line, did perform very well.
Exciting stuff for the Stingrays women's program upcoming, and this is a pass out to Scanlon. And that ball looked like it danced in the wind there. Scanlon looked a bit confused underneath that. And she was open though. That's something they might want to go back to.
Yeah, most certainly. It did look like she slowed up on her route a bit, but I'd have to imagine it would be. The ball definitely flooded through the air. It does make it very, very hard to read a ball going downfield, especially when it slows up for a second and then picks up again. Does have quite a size advantage on the outside there as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that, if not right now, a little bit later.
Evans and Cuttress, your matchup on the outside, close side of the screen. Free play here. Evans gone for the end zone. And
almost picked off.
Almost intercepted, sorry, by Natsugo. Cuttress, who had one last week, brought it back for 40 yards, which set the Ravens up for a huge game-sealing drive. But this won't be any harm to the Stingrays. They'll get another opportunity here.
Yeah. Looks like we'll have offsides by the defense. So the Stingrays get back 5 yards and get to try 4th down again. Looks like they did steer away from number 18 there, but at the same time, talking about the mental game from the side of the Ravens, the Stingrays really have not been able to move the ball through the air at all, and another batted pass it just adds on.
Ottawa remains the lead back for now. Jensen stays on the sideline.
Another
You've
shot.
got an open receiver here, and Fuller finally connects with the pass and takes this inside the 10. They've been trying to get that all afternoon. They've finally got it here inside the last 2 minutes.
Just as I'm saying they might not be able to get the passing game going, a great completion there and a corner out by the looks of it. Outside, floated the ball nicely there by Evans. It's been a run after the catch. Good tackle though by number 19 there on the Ravens. Natty Cuttress.
And don't want to waste any time here. And this is Cullick who almost lose control of it. Now gets vertical, but has a hard time at making any more. Hayes takes a shot after that. Well, during that play, I should say here, and being helped up by some of the opposition there.
Not too sure what happened to number 13 there, Marissa Hayes. And it looks like that is half.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious about how they wanted to handle those final couple moments there, going to the toss play. I mean, I know Iro Hatalik is capable of taking it from distance there, but they go for the pitch play when I assume they would have known, though. They had seconds left on the clock, but alas, that is the case. The Ravens have an 8-0 lead here, half-time of the final week of the women's division regular season here. We've got one more half of football left to go for the Ravens to try to protect being swept by the Stingrays here in 2019. The Stingrays trying to keep the ideas and the mental advantage of a sweep alive for the players ahead. We're going to take a short break for halftime. Myself, Connor Brewster, and we'll be back for the second half of the women's division football after a few minutes. Kick-off for the second half is only moments away here in the final game for the women's division for these two teams before we look at playoffs in 2 weeks. And speaking about looking at playoffs, why don't we look at the standings around the league right now? There is a couple of dramatic situations going on in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Let's look at the men's one very quickly. Now, the Rhinos are pretty much locked up top place. The Stingrays and the Ravens, well, they've got a situation where today's result could affect that, but the reality is both of those teams will finish second or third depending on the last couple of games. They will be locking up a playoff position. Where it gets interesting is that 4th position. Now, we all know, if you don't know by now, there is a few bit of dramas, and it turns out kickoff's a bit closer than we expected, but I'll talk about it anyway. There was a couple of dramas with the Thunder losing competition points because their failure to acknowledge a first-tier import, so that knocked them well back into the race for 4th place, or well, you know, that moved them back on the table, and that took away a lot of the security they had. The Ravens also dealing, they could have been comfortably in 2nd place, or at least a lot more comfortably in 2nd place had they not been docked 2 points as well. The second half goes underway. This goes out of bounds. They tried again, trying to get that onside recovery. But yeah, just having a look at holistically the games for the next 2 weeks. You can see here the last week, this week that's happening now. You've got the Ravens Stingrays are going to take place next, and we've got the Rhinos and Bears. The Bears would love a victory there. If they can upset the Rhinos, that really throws things for a loop next week with the Bears taking on the Thunder, and that really will be a case of Battle of 4th, which still might be the case regardless. Vultures and Thunder, the Thunder need to win out after their political dramas to keep themselves in the playoff hunt in their premiership defense. And then next week, we're actually going to be going to Moreton Bay to see the games there. And you can see the Raptors and the Vultures will be kicking off that one. But, sorry, my apologies, Logan. Covering the Bears and the Thunder. And this first pass was intended to Riley Hodgson. They're trying to get her involved. She's almost been criminally underused in this wind in the first half.
Yeah, most certainly.
Second, obviously.
Rhinos that we will watch against Stingrays.
Rhinos at Stingrays in the first game next week. I'm just getting fed into me. And then the big game of the Bears taking on the Thunder, which, as I said, will most likely be the fight for fourth place. Evans here on second down in the second play of the second half. And that is Cody Fuller picking up a catch, but there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Not too sure what that flag would have been from there. I didn't see any kind of push off from the receiver, not that I could see at least. So might have been something pre-play alignment-wise.
Or also
possibly.
could have been late hit on the quarterback, although that would be a weird place for the flag to come
Yeah,
from.
most certainly.
If
Yeah.
that was the case. Flag's going back in the pocket. Are they going to wave it off? No.
It's like,
Will be assessed.
looks like it's against the Stingrays.
Illegal lineman downfield. And just looking at the Colts here, so make sure we cover all of them. Obviously, yourself, the Stingrays, comfortably locking up a win today to give you that 10-0 season. You'll be going in with the #1 seed. And just quickly with the juniors, we'll look at that. And the next break of play. Evans is back with Jensen. Jensen recovered from an injury late in the first half.
It's like slight motion there.
Evans looking for Jensen, trying to go back to that screen that netted him a good couple of yards in the first half. Unsuccessful. Now they've got 3rd and long. And the juniors, well, it's more of the same, isn't it? The Stingrays going 10-0 in the junior division right now.
Yep, you
the
bet it.
Stingrays continuing their dominance over those two divisions over the last couple of seasons, particularly the Colts. We haven't seen it. And, well, the last champion we saw that was not known the Stingrays was 2013. I believe that was the last time we saw the Ravens in red and green.
I think you might have been the Spartans the year after, possibly.
After very well, it could have been the case. The Jason Goff years, I believe.
Yes.
Could have been the case. It seems like an age ago now. And this play will be blown dead.
Possibly a false start here for them to blow. Yeah, looks like
I think
their official signal. Looks like a
the only
false
reason-
start on the offense.
The only reason they would have blown that dead. But I think you're right. I think it was Coach Noonan. Full start being assessed now on the Stingrays.
Yes.
Coach Noonan and Jason Goff winning that one there. That
It was the year before I started playing, so it would have been, I think, 2014 possibly, 2013, 2014.
I know 2012 was a victory to the Spartans. They upset the Rhinos. That Sunbowl was played actually, well, we're at Wyndham. That was played actually Cougar Oval. 2013, the Ravens. And I'm getting a meat tray sold to me right now. $2. Not that our viewers at home can win the meat tray, but I have been requested to spruik that. But yeah, 2013, that was a win at East by the Bayside Ravens. That was their last title, and then we went on the massive run that has been the Stingrays' dominance.
Yes.
And speaking of Stingrays' dominance,
Great
That
defense
is-
there. Great defense.
that down, and Natsuko Kutris is putting together a good couple of weeks at the cornerback position right now for the Bayside Ravens.
Tell you what, without that, number 4 almost had that.
Cody
Almost had that. 19 there from the
Wide
Bayside
receiver.
Ravens. Cutris breaking it up at the last second. Great play. 4th and forever now.
I'm just doing the maths here. The Stingrays Colts program going for their 6th straight title.
6th.
And this is a low punt. Might have even copped a finger on the way through. Moran's going to pick that up. No, it isn't Moran. That's tricky. And it will be tackled by Sarah Kane. That could have been awkward.
Could have been very, very bad if that ball wasn't picked up cleanly. Number 18 there
Yeah,
from
Scanlon,
the
I think
Stingrays.
That might be
Scanlon.
tricky trying to take advantage of a rookie there.
Yeah, definitely.
Rookie not sure if he should be making a tackle. I think a lot of players, it's not even until their 2nd year do they really comprehend
Yes.
the
special teams rules, if you will.
special teams
yeah.
rules, which is a whole, mind the pun, it's a specialist sort of set of knowledge on its own. 1st down and 10.
Ravens seeming to have made some adjustments at halftime, possibly.
And here we are at quarterback once again, and it'll be a pitch out to
Big
Pivar.
run.
Pivar's got plenty of space in front of
Huge
her.
lane.
And she's still going. She hasn't been touched yet. And eventually Riley Hodgson takes it down, but not before she's picked up more than enough. In fact, picks up close to 30 yards. Actually, probably about 31 yards on that run alone.
Yeah, great run there outside. Really, really good outside blocking there from the Ravens. Really, really good outside blocking there to contain that Stingrays
Hayes
edge.
just bullying young Kira Lee Keynes on the edge there.
Yeah.
She won't be the first. Hayes takes a lot of pride
In her blocking game.
on the edge. First down and 10. Ball at the 19.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's run to the left here.
Is that Moran in the backfield? That it is. Again, the pitch issues continue.
Ooh.
And Ravens are very lucky. That was a favorable bounce for Moran. That would have been a real swing of momentum.
Once again there you look at not so much preying on a rookie, but not rookie awareness there from Kira Lee Keynes, going for the player rather than going for the player in Moran rather than going for the ball while it was on the ground. Moran quite comfortably recovering it in the end. Kira Lee probably could have gone straight for the ball there and given her a bit of a run for her money, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but I don't think you ever want to discourage a player for for getting up in front of another player's face.
No.
And they've put Moran on the other side now. They try the same play to the left. It's still awkward. This time Moran does collect it. And don't know how they're going to fix this, but it still feels like a bit of a lottery every time they run what should be a rudimentary run play.
Yeah, it does seem like they've had one great big gainer, then a fumble, and then we look like a gain of about 2 there. The Stingrays' defensive line seemed to swallow up pretty easily. Looks like some confusion for a play call or maybe personnel. Interesting to see what the Ravens run here. About 3rd and about 7 or 8.
Here we go on 3rd down. Barbrich hungry for a sack here. Hasn't had one since the first quarter. 2 receivers out to the left. Hazel on her own to the right, and that's the target. Or was it Christian? Christian did have a bit of space over the middle, but the pass sails overhead, and that'll make it 4th down.
Christian there looks like has been lining up a tight end. Looks like she has been blocking the last few plays, tried to release on that one. Stingrays, I believe it was the safety there, carried her downfield, so she was covered and the ball was overthrown a little bit as well. So
this wind hasn't changed since the first half. The direction is exactly the same. It's almost now a 45-degree angle across the field, left to right on your screen.
If anything, might have picked up a little bit more just in the last little bit.
So there's going to be a little more pepper on any passes thrown to the screen side of the field. And that's exactly where this pass goes. It was intended to Hayes. Hayes wants a penalty. I didn't see any dramas with that.
I think she's asking for a little tug there from Keynes on her back, but nothing that I saw. Good no call.
If I was the nump, that flag would be well and truly still in my pocket.
Yes, most definitely, yeah. It's like 1st down now for the Stingrays, turnover on downs from the Ravens. Interesting to see here what the Stingrays do, because it looks like the Ravens again, that real hit and miss ground attack, straight back to it, but the Stingrays here, if they made any adjustments at halftime, anything new that they can try. I guess with the experience of Evans, they can play around a little bit more.
And I wonder if with Evans they're going to start using her more as a runner. I know she did have some injury concerns at the start of the season, and she's a tough chick. She might just be battling through it, and that might be why she's a little more limited on the running side. But she is a dangerous runner herself. I would be kind of surprised they haven't, if she is healthy, haven't gone to that a little more. Especially on the read option. Oh, a good bump off there from Jensen, but the rest of the defense comes down and finishes the job.
Yeah. Jensen looks like she's a little bit shaken up there. It was a good hit there from the linebacker. But again, speaking about Evans in the running game, again, in a game like this where you are playing them again next week, is it really worth the injury risk to the quarterback?
And, also it's one of those situations you get into the mindset of a lot of these linebackers you'll be seeing in the future. You get them used to you handing off like that. And then play of the playoffs, you tuck that and run, and then you're down the field for 22 yards. So.
Yeah, so with the Colts in particular, Gorchapari, perfect example.
Probably no one does it better in the Colts division than Gorchapari. Won a whole national championship in those plays alone, and this is a pass to the 17 and Norcliffe. She's still fighting off Ravens.
Will be interesting where they spot this actually, because it looks like they're going to say in the end about a 1-yard gain.
A whole murder on a on that play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ravens in to try and stop Norcliffe.
Looks like as well the Ravens home field sound team is playing the Jaws music currently for third down, getting in a little bit into it.
Now someone knows how to create, what do you call it, environment. It's certainly Kevin Turner.
Third and long.
Here we are. Evans puts Hodgson in motion, and they'll fake it to her, and there's that run game we talked about. They get a bit of the speed option pitch game going, and I dare say that was probably closer to a triple option, in fact, and it's not enough to pick up the first down on third down there. They try to go to a bit of misdirection, a bit of trickery.
Did seem like a bit of a read option there, yeah, but Evans didn't seem to read that first one too much, but if you go back and see it on the replay even, there was number 13 there did have quite a lane to the other way, so wouldn't be surprised if we come back to that. The Rays rather come back to that. I say we right now, but I'm in the commentary booth. I need to get my...
we know you're trying.
Need to get the terminology correct while I'm here.
Fourth down now, and Evans is called to play, and she'll stay in at quarterback. They're in their own half, well and truly. The ball is on the 25, but Stingrays offense getting a bit fed up, and
wouldn't be surprised to see the ball handed.
Like a reduction here. The motion's the same, but they hand it off. Here's Evans.
Got it.
There's the keeper, and she's got Moran chasing her. Did she get enough? It looks like she has. They finally saved that play for when they really needed it. And they needed 3. They got 5.
Looks like they dragged Moran there across the formation with the motion. Everyone from the Ravens defense bit inside there on Jensen, and Evans just tucks and runs. Got about 5 or 6 on the gain. She only needed about 3 or 4, so comfortably got the first down.
Ball now on the 30.
Stingrays seems to be sorting out something coming out early in the second half, trying to tie up this game.
Back to the spread formation, 60 yards to go to try and get points on the board. Evans, with the wind dying down a little bit, tries to hit Scanlon, and to be fair, got her in the hands. Scanlon couldn't bring that in.
Yeah, it was a really well thrown ball there from Evans. Really put it where only the receiver could get it at that stage. Looks like a
sluggo.
Yeah, I was about to say slant and go, but sluggo, more widely used term there. The route concept.
To be fair, they've been setting that up as well. You know, Scanlon has been running that, whether she's been targeted or not on their backside, or really front side for a lefty. She has been running that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of inside breaking concepts from the Stingrays.
Cody in the slot. She's matched up with Todd. They're not looking her way though. They're going for Hodgson underneath, and over the top was for the Ravens was Brianna Tricky.
Looks like there's a bit of argy-bargy after the play. Number 14, Jensen from the Stingrays, looked to get what I saw was a cut block, and number 90, I believe, from the Ravens was not happy about it. Ayla Cook. The flag was thrown quite firmly from the official there.
What do you think? We won't get it on camera because it was on the backside of the play. But
yeah,
do you think chop block? You thinking, or
depending on what they're going to rule it as? Because generally in the field of play, they have waved off the flag by the looks of it. Yep. So generally cut blocking is allowed when it's within the tackle box, within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So the cut block would have been fine. I thought the flag may have been thrown for anything going on after the play. But it looks like they just exchanged pleasantries, if you will.
It looks like neither of the leadership teams or the other teams are all too bothered about that. So
no.
Good job to let the girls play.
Yep, exactly.
Third
Wouldn't be surprised to see if Ayla Cook comes through with a bit of extra forces play.
Let's see how she goes. She's double teamed. Well done by the Stingrays. Flag's thrown, and it's thrown. The ball is thrown to Hodgson underneath, who's still fighting through defenders. And it's a valiant effort, but it's still short of the first down marker by a good 3 yards. But what are these flags about?
Not really sure down near the line of scrimmage there. It looks like the official there did have a bit of eyes on what was going to be going on with number 90, so I guess he kind of assumed there may be.
Face mask on the defense. And that would have been on the lineman, I imagine, from the way that I saw, what I saw the official looking at.
Yeah, where the flag was thrown. More in the backfield there.
Yeah, we didn't get the number of that, but Ayla Cook has been subbed off, so maybe that's just her coaches just trying to temper her attitude a little bit. Trying to simmer her down. Yeah,
just give her a play off. Not really sure if we can see anything on that replay, but
Cook unlucky not to pick up a long touchdown last week. Had a fumble recovery, which he took back to their house, but the referees deemed a block from Moran to be in the back, which wiped that score off the board. Midway through the third quarter now, and the Stingrays had a couple of penalties and a couple of good plays that have got them first down inside Ravens territory.
Looks like trips to the left now.
And Evans off her back foot goes to Scanlon, but it doesn't have the beef to get there, and that's incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 upcoming.
So that ball there was a little bit underthrown, which again I just have to say would be the wind. Catching it a little bit, it did seem to drift inside, which it did drift inside and hold up a bit, so key that right to the 45-degree wind coming right against that ball. Looks like Evans calling the play again in the huddle. Looks like 2nd and 10 now. Ayla Cook is back on the field there, looking at right defensive end. See if she can get some pressure on this play. Stingrays coming out spread again. Motion again by number 13.
And Hodgson will take this on the end around again, but loses her footing
slips.
and runs into a Raven as well. That Raven is her state and Australian teammate, and opposite number 13, and Marissa Hayes. And now it looks like we'll get a timeout. Timeout in the direction of the Stingrays, it looks like.
Not sure. Looks like the officials not too sure what's going on either right now.
I don't suppose this is an official's timeout, is it? No. Well, they had their back. Well, they were facing the Stingrays. They just didn't give us the full signal, so we're led to believe that was a Stingray timeout.
It's the quarter.
Oh, end of the quarter. There we go.
That makes a lot of sense then. I guess the officials being quite nice there, saying you did call a timeout, but we're not going to charge it for you. It is
that's
quarter.
good discretion.
Yes.
There, so we will see the two teams change sides here for the final quarter of play, taking over to the fourth. And still just a one touchdown separating this team. The second quarter touchdown scored by new quarterback Brittany Todd, running it in from about 7 yards out.
Yep.
And that very well might be enough to win her team the game here. Not bad, a little 100% record if this team can hold out.
It's all about percentages, Kenny. It's all about percentages. It's not the numbers behind the percentages, it's just the percentages themselves.
That's why I say my touchdown target record as a receiving player in this league is quite high. Might have only been thrown 4 passes, but you know,
Hey, I assume,
a lot of them counted.
you know. Stingrays do seem to be moving the ball now. That was quite a fast third quarter there, but the first half was quite long with all the passing as far as stoppages go. So seems like if the ball does get kept on the ground, this clock is going to keep ticking quite quickly.
And there has been a few more little respites of wind throughout the third quarter. It's constantly coming back, but there have been a few moments where it's certainly been a bit weaker. As Evans tries to take advantage of one of those right now.
Ooh.
Not a radar, a little askew, trying to target Hodgson on that play on 3rd and long. Now this brings up a 4th and double sticks. And this has been the case for the Stingrays for a lot of today. They've had to deal with a lot of 3rd and 4th downs and double sticks.
Yeah.
And as good as Evans is, trying to throw in this win for long distances, not really conducive to success.
They really haven't seemed to try and establish that early down ground game, and it has put them in a lot of 3rd and long, 4th and long as their 4th and double stick holes, and it's just really, really killing them at the moment.
Well, they went for 4th down earlier in this drive on their own 25. This one's
A block
blocked from Gary
punt. It's a
Christian.
block punt.
So the Ravens, they'll block the punt and get fantastic field position here.
Ravens recover it either way.
And, well, that drive which stalled, not only stalled, but skidded across the road now.
Not sure who blocked the punt there. I think it was
27, Karen Christian getting up. Outstanding job, and really this defense has been doing a wonderful job against one of the best offenses in the league.
They really have, yeah. Stingrays really, I mean, the scoreboard says it all. 0 points on the board going into the 4th quarter. Really, to be honest, they haven't done themselves too many favours.
I'll tell you what, I thought in the first quarter, almost certain it was 27. In the first quarter, I actually thought Cody Fuller was a bit shallow, but she got the punt off away nicely. And I thought, hey, if that works for you, it works for you. But that is the rescue run. Speaking about running, here goes Todd. Flags are being thrown right now. Todd is wrestling with Serena Martin. And, well, save for the penalty, she's picked up a good chunk of yardage there.
It was a quite nice quarterback design run there, yeah. Flag in the backfield. I'd have to guess holding. Would you guess, Kenny?
Yeah, it's a safe bet. Looking at $1.50 on the fake sports bet penalty odds.
Referee is walking the ball back, so looks like it was the holding call. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more of that, though. They have seem to be very successful on the ground, the Ravens, and just making it as simple as possible. No mesh points, no nothing. Just quarterback gets the ball, picks a lane. Very simple, very effective, though.
There goes Todd on first and double sticks now, getting that quick pitch out to, I think, Peaver. And the defense swarms nicely.
Good stop there from the Stingrays there. She may have rolled her ankle there. Oh no, she's walking okay. Sorry, I thought she might have rolled up on the tackle there, but...
So the special team just came up with a big play for the Ravens, and the defense has got a couple of sacks for the Ravens. This Stingrays defense might have to take the game into their own control here and find a way to force a turnover themselves. Offense struggling a little bit throughout the first 3 quarters and now into the fourth quarter of play. The Stingrays might have to be the Stingrays defense, I should say, might have to be the unit to get things going for them on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you're quite right there, Kenny. Looks like a speed option there to the top side of the screen.
And Todd's
got a lane.
And she's getting to the original first down marker, and then looks like she belongs on the Rugby World Cup with the way she kept that little scrum going.
Very powerful run there. Fighting through those arm tackles. Well, it got hit at about the 40 and ended up about the 45, 46. Very, very powerful finish to her run there.
And that's an evident improvement in Todd's game. It's been no secret if you follow her on Instagram. She has put a lot of work in the weight room over the past 12 months, and you can see physically she's a different player right now.
Yeah.
And, usually she's been applying that defensively. Right now she shows that it's been helping on the old ball running features of her game as well.
Speed option
Here
again.
she goes
Looks like she's
again.
gonna keep it. Good tackle there from the Stingrays.
Ottawa Tulloch, and the 19 is Serena Martin takes her down.
Fourth down by the looks of it, fourth and about 6 here for the Ravens. Ball spotted at about the 32 of the Stingrays, so you have to think they are going to go for this one, really try and put even more pressure on the Stingrays than there currently is.
If they can convert here, this will knock off at least an extra minute of play.
At least.
With a fresh set of downs.
Wouldn't be surprised to see another speed option call.
Well, they try to pass the ball here, and Todd's over the top. Had 2 players in the same vicinity, and in fact, it ends up almost being a Stingray coming away with it, which is Riley Hodgson, and had she managed to pick that up off her bootlaces, she could have been gone. In any case, fourth down, the Stingrays defense does its job and gets the ball back for their offense. So their offense has an opportunity now, and they have got quick strike players. Cody Fuller, Hodgson, even Jensen can pick up big yardage at a time, but particularly the former 2 players there, they're capable of taking it the whole distance if they can get the right position.
Definitely there, and I guess we're really going to see if Evan's experience here can help her out. See if she can make the right reads. Looks like they're going 2 back again, split back.
Here goes Jensen. Jensen's found plenty of space. Great job by the offensive line there, and that opens up a run for about 4 or 5 yards.
Good drive starter there, good solid, and this is what they probably needed more of throughout this game. That good, solid first down run. Instead of being 2nd and 10, you're looking at 2nd and 5. You can run the ball again. You can look to pass it. You're still not cutting down your opportunities on 3rd down.
Sarah Kane did a wonderful job there, and Alex Aarons to keep her out of the play there, drove her right out of that gap, and the running back wasn't touched for a good 3 yards. 2nd down and 5. Here goes Ottawa Tulloch. Here's another player who could make something happen. Hayes is on her. Hayes tries to get at that football, takes her out of bounds, and stops any yardage being made. Actually, check that. Tulloch gets about a yard on that, and now we've got about 3rd and 4. Long for it, that probably looking at 4.5.
Thereabouts, yeah, Kenny. It looks like they are. I'm not sure if they'll sit in it in this 3rd and medium, but this split back formation has worked for the Stingrays a fair bit today, with that 2nd back being the lead blocker. Again, as I said, just these first down runs, if they do convert here, which I imagine they've got a pretty open playbook as far as options go right now.
Certainly more than 3rd and double sticks.
Yes.
Haroa Tulloch and Jensen now both in the backfield. I reckon they're going deep here and they might protect. I'm wrong. Jensen's following the lead block of Tulloch on 3rd down, and that leads to a loss of yardage. And now they've got a 4th and 6.
Great flowing defense there from the Ravens. Just to cut off any cutback lanes for Jensen there. Tulloch trying to push the edge, but even then, just nothing for Jensen there. Just really just running out of space, just running out of grass until getting taken down from behind. Yeah. It looks like 4th and 6, 4th and 5, 5.5, 6. Much better than 4th and double sticks, but at the same time, you'd much rather it be 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 or just the first down itself.
Yeah. It's one of those situations. They've been playing to field position a lot here, and if they continue to that, you'd think that this might be another run here to try and
split back again. Yeah.
I think they might go. They might even just go to the same play to the open side of the field now. Nope. You'll go to what I thought it was last play, double back protection, and they try to throw downfield to Fuller. Incomplete. Fuller walks off the sideline, but she will need to be needed, whether it's the punt or catch a pass. And there's a big change of units rolling on, so the Ravens seem to believe they're punting.
Yep.
Oh no, that was turnover and downs, my apologies.
Yes,
I thought it was 3rd and long still. So the offense on the field.
So looks like the Ravens will start at about the Stingrays 36 by what I can see right now.
Not to beat a dead horse, what I said last drive, it's even more relevant this time now.
Yeah.
The Stingrays defense not only looking to go turnover and downs, they're looking for any sort of quick turnover they can create. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a few more players reaching for strips.
Looks like the Stingrays sending 5 right now, really. Now, I think they're making a really conscious effort to stop this outside run game right now. If you see on their alignment, the Stingrays got the 3 down linemen, the 2 outside linebackers. They're sitting quite wide, but at the line of scrimmage, shooting upfield very quickly, trying to cut off this wide running game. But at the same time, if the Ravens are going to stick with these speed options, keep the quarterback inside, very quickly, if the offensive line get their blocks, there's no one to stop Todd.
2nd down and a 10.
Looks like Todd at running back right now, actually. A little bit of wildcat.
Oh, this is not something unfamiliar to this Ravens offense. Moran at this time will just take the direct pitch, and now we'll follow the block. Has got Kiralee Keynes to beat, and she does that, but Sammy sideline assists Tulloch in making the stop a few more yards down the field.
Looks like, yeah, as I said, number 19 there at the bottom of the screen for the Stingrays.
Yeah,
Serena Martin sitting quite wide, stopping that pitch. But at the same time, if the quarterback does get the ball and stays upfield and the offensive line gets their blocks very quickly, there's not really anyone to help out except the safety.
Well, this is one of those situations you need to be able to sell out, and you're trying to find stops
sooner
rather than later.
2-minute warning.
2-minute warning, so there it is. 2 minutes right now. At the same time, I don't want to overdramatize everything. We said ourselves the playoff spots are pretty much locked in, but this is really for the Stingrays to keep bragging rights or some sort of mental advantage over the Ravens heading into the playoffs. Here goes
There's
Todd.
that lane inside.
We called it. On 3rd down, Todd gets a good chunk there. Whether she got the first down, though, is remained to be seen. She does. Got the first down at signal, and dare I say it, that could be curtains.
I think if the Stingrays are going to call their timeout to stop the clock, then you'd have to imagine they'd be able to get maybe 5, 6, 7 plays out of the Ravens offense before the game will be called.
More or less, one more first down should do it.
Yes, most of it. Exactly. Wouldn't be surprised to see the speed option again. Moran back at quarterback.
There she goes. Moran, dummies left, will take on Martin to the right, finds space outside her, beats Cody Fuller as well down the field, and that might be the ball game. Moran literally takes things into her own hands and runs it in for 6, and a game-winning 6 at that.
They've been sticking play side of that pitch the whole time. It looked like the quick fake, put her foot in the ground, cut it straight back across the grain. No one was expecting on the Stingrays defense.
What a final block.
Great block there. Great block at the end there by number 13, Marissa Hayes, really finishing that off, really rubbing salt into the wounds, if you will, of the Stingrays defense.
They've used her sparingly, to say the least, in 2019. It looks like they've uncorked Moran right when they need her at the end of the season.
Exactly. A 2-point conversion to come.
Sade Kelly's jumping into tailback for the first time this afternoon. He's been rolling a lot of special teams for today.
Hard count there. Speed option again.
That's where they'll go.
Late
They'll pitch it
pitch.
out.
Great play.
And Sade Kelly wasn't asked to do a whole lot, but she's contributed 2 points with her involvement, and that will be a 16-point lead in the dying minutes of the first half.
Great play. That extra edge defender really just bit down on the quarterback there, and that late pitch. Great execution there.
Second half, that's something I did say earlier. The Stingrays might be looking forward to next week now. The game somewhat out of reach, largely out of reach, you'd even say.
Oh, I'd have to say bar a very large kick return and a recovered onside kick, the decision has kind of been made as far as the winner and loser, but...
So now I think it'll be down to both teams here.
Yes.
Just to decide
Yes.
how much risk they're going to put each other in with the playoffs looming a fortnight away. I wouldn't be surprised if the Stingrays opt to take a few knees here and just
I was just
see
thinking that
this
actually,
game out.
yeah. And just say, well played Ravens, you've won this one, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Positive signs from both teams. They both, at least on offense, as much as not very high scoring game, both teams seem to find things that worked. It's just for the Stingrays at least, got themselves in a lot of holes very early in downs and really couldn't dig themselves out of them. Looks like the Stingrays don't actually have a returner back there by the looks of it.
I think they're just
expecting the short kick.
Yeah, they just moved their returners up, and for that exact reason, and that'll be Norcliffe once again fielding the kick. And now we'll see how aggressive the Stingrays offense feels like they want to close this game out. Or how much aggression the Stingrays offense wants to close the game out with.
Yes, as you said, would not be surprised to just see a couple of kneels or maybe even a couple of deep shots. We'll just see how they go. 2-minute warning was a little while ago, but in-game time, not really too sure how much we've got left. Probably about a minute, would you say?
Yeah, but Evans looks like she's going in there with a play.
Looks like she's having a fair chat, so could be something a bit interesting coming out here.
Not going under centre. Not that we don't see knees from the shotgun nowadays, but
So coming out in the spread formation again.
so their standard formation. They're gonna throw over the middle. It goes to Hodgson. Hodgson beats Todd. Runs around Cuttress, looking for the sideline. Puts a little goosey on. Now she's down the left-hand sideline. Here we go. Where's this been all game? All right, hang on. We might have a little drama towards the final minute of the game here. They convert here. We're talking one possession. We could be looking at an onside kick recovery here.
Definitely could.
Oh, how about the goosey?
Oh. Lovely move there. Must say, her coming back towards the line of scrimmage there. I was a little bit worried she was going to get her pursuit angle cut off, but found the edge and just went. 2-point conversion to come. Ravens have gotten both of theirs, so you'd have to say best case scenario right now for the Stingrays is they get their 2-point conversion, recover the onside kick, score again quickly, and then get their 2-point conversion as well. Tied game.
Yeah,
I'd say that's absolute best case scenario.
Yeah, you're right. The W does seem out of the picture here, but a tie right now would be the sourest taste they could probably put in the Ravens' mouth.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
right now after the game they've had. A pitch out to Jensen, and Isla
like
Cook secures the victory here for the Ravens. So good to see a bit of excitement out of the Stingrays offense, which has been muffled for much of today's game. But they send a statement there with their last drive saying that we can score.
Exactly. I think, don't see it on screen just there, but number 4 from the Stingrays with a pretty key block just there. Cody Fuller on number 11 to help with the angle there. Now, you'd have to think onside kick here from the Stingrays.
Why not?
At least again for the, as we said, this is much more a mental matchup than on paper a real deciding game, but you score the touchdown late, you recover the onside kick, you say, hey, we're still here, don't forget about us.
So I've seen the Stingrays take onside kicks in much less appropriate times than this. So.
I think it was last week that my juniors kicker actually, and I will use his name, Kane Mackin, took it upon himself in a very clear victory to, hey, I saw a hole, so I'm going to kick an onside kick. So
Kane Mackin's still a junior?
yes, Mackin is still a junior. He's playing Colts as well after his pretty successful state campaign. Very young, a lot of potential there.
Yeah, evident from both the state campaign and his season in 2019. Coach John Booker, age is but a number to him.
Yep.
If you're good enough, he'll play you.
Yep.
Whether it's at the national level or whether it's at the domestic level. Here goes Fuller with the onside kick. It's a good one. It's a great one, in fact. And the Stingrays have got
may
it.
have it.
Oh, how about this?
Adding a little bit of drama.
Again, I will dead set. Oh, they have got it, right? Is that the?
I do believe they do.
Yeah, it's the offense jumping on the field. I'll tell you what, I'll eat my hat if they somehow manage to find a way to win this after chasing 10 points with only seconds remaining. But they're certainly making it a little exciting here in the final 30.
This is as much as, and I guess in a mental standpoint as well, as we have talked about going into the playoffs. We were, from Ravens' standpoint, we're up 16-0. The game's almost finished.
The Stingrays score here. They almost undo a lot of the good work the Ravens have done.
Exactly.
3 quarters, 4 quarters of play.
And it really just says that, hey, Ravens, watch out. We are really still here.
Cody Fuller over the middle. Have they got any timeouts left?
Not sure if they do. I remember one being called, but I'm not too sure.
The sideline's saying hurry up. I think the plan is to spike this. Oh no, they want to go with a play. The ball is set. Clock's going to run now.
Seems like they are going to, even if they do have timeouts, they're going to opt not to use them. Maybe save them for later, if they do even have any.
Here goes Evans.
Snaps
Evans got it back to protect. Throws, beats the blitz. Gets it out to Scanlon. Sorry, Norcliffe, my apologies. And that one's not be enough to see this game out.
Looks like the timeout's been called by the Stingrays, I believe.
Timeout indeed has been called by the Stingrays, and the ball now is currently on the 30, right? On the 30, so 30 is in the range of Evans' throwing distance. She could just look at the end zone now if she wished.
Great poster out there by Cody Fuller, getting that inside leverage. Great catch, great ball from Evans as well, and it seems by fate almost that the wind did die down during that play. And
well, here's the thing we talked about. We talked about Scanlon running the sluggo earlier after using a lot of in-breaking routes earlier. Cody Fuller, I think it was a season ago, maybe 2 seasons ago, managed to get a couple of long plays, but doing something similar where it was a bit of a hitch and go or a bit of an in and out concept.
Hitch fade read, if you will. Even.
Right now is not a bad time to give one of those a crack either.
Just a very subtle stutter step, maybe all it takes. She's a bigger bodied receiver as well, so she does generally have a height advantage by the looks of it, no matter where she is matched up on the field.
Just to make sure I don't close out the game, I've talked about a lot of these Stingrays players that they would have loved to have in the field. I'm looking at one of the Ravens would have loved her right now with Chrissy Torres nursing her lovely baby daughter. Just kept her out of this season so far. No doubt she'll be back in Ravens colours once she feels Bob's sorted. State defensive back, Sun Bowl winning quarterback for the Ravens.
Looks like Chrissy Moran there on the sideline actually, with the medic getting checked out possibly for a hand injury from what I can see. So that could be a bit of a storyline going into next week.
Could be. And yeah, Moran's certainly been dealing with her share of issues throughout 2019, which has limited her play. And look at her hand, I just do worry that I'm getting shades of 2015 where she broke her hand against the Ravens, playing for the Jets at the time, obviously. Has since been replaced with like some sort of metal rod, I'm pretty sure. So see that she might get a bit of rust blown out there. Here goes Evans.
Split back again.
And she's going short underneath for Hodgson, but this time Cuttress has a good tackle underneath.
I'd have to think that if the Stingrays aren't calling the next timeout here, then they'd have to be out of them.
I'm surprised in that timeout they didn't have 2 plays called. And we're ready to go for the next play. That was a long time out.
I most certainly would have thought they'd at least have at least have 2 queued up, or at least if we do so and so on the first play, we're doing this the next, or doing this.
Riley Hodgson back in the slot. Scanlon near side to your screen.
Post
Good drop back, and they want Fuller on the slant again, or the in. Can't connect it. This will be 4th down and quite possibly the last play of the game.
Looked like, yeah, they were trying to hit Fuller on that deep slant or shallow post there across the middle, but the Ravens were expecting at that time, and the ball eerily went in the air after being deflected, almost picked off across the middle as well by the safety. So I think you're right, Kenny. I would assume this would be the last play. After all, it is 4th down, so I'm sure the Ravens would opt to take the knee afterwards.
Here's the thing, I don't know if it's just a personnel issue, but one play that Evans used to run beautifully and perfectly at this distance is the old four verticals concept. Haven't used that a whole lot this season, and something right now would have been an absolute pearl of time to call. Here she is, and she's...
Oh, PI.
They're going to call PI and be Clement here. Oh, I thought for a second that I saw Hodgson break open over the middle, but there was a safety waiting for her. This will extend the game, though, and will move them much closer. So that's pretty much the second best result they could have got out of this.
Even if time had expired in that play, the game cannot end on a defensive penalty, so we're not too sure of the time, but defensive pass interference. We did not have shades of the playoffs in the NFL last year. There was the penalty was called here.
Sorry, Saints fans.
The very, very blatant PI call. Looks like a bit of Stranger Things in the background as well.
I have to say, they're really reaching deep into the playlist here at the home ground of the Ravens, Kitchener Park. Kevin Turner on the track list. Good protection here from the Stingrays. Evans loads for the end zone. Incomplete pass intended to Hodgson.
Overthrown there a little bit by the looks of it.
Well, I don't know how many plays we must have left on this clock, but clearly enough for one more.
Yeah, I guess we're just going to keep going until we get told to stop, I guess.
That's my life in a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the penalty as well that we didn't mention as well, being the defensive penalty is an automatic set of first down, so even though that was 4th down and they didn't convert, they get 4 more.
2nd down and 10.
So
ball on the 19.
Be interesting here because I would think that there would be some kind of definitely a vertical concept here, but even 4 verticals with say Cody Fuller on the outside running an in route underneath it.
And they go to what looked like the same concept, and it's intercepted here by Sade Kelly. And Kelly had a 2-point conversion earlier, now has a game-sealing pick. I don't know how many times I can say game-sealing in a 2-minute period, but I might be going for the record.
I think you might have it, Kenny. Yeah, it looked like just there they went to some kind of a switch concept, and safety there was waiting for it. I believe it was number 11, was it?
Yeah, Sade Kelly.
Picking that off, and it looks like that will be the game.
Yeah, I think we're going to get
finally
the rays of the football, or perhaps we already have when we're looking at the replay there. That is full time here, not only on this game, but for the season for these two teams. Two teams that now get to look forward to the playoffs. We're heading back to the Sunshine Coast where we were a season ago up at Sunshine Coast Stadium, the beautiful home of the SC Falcons, for the beautiful 2 days of finals football we get to see again. Congratulations to the Ravens. They prevent a 2019 sweep. The Stingrays threatened against them. The Stingrays are winning their rounds of the games 3-1 over the Ravens so far in the regular season. That could play a factor going into the playoffs in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But the Ravens proved that they can beat the Stingrays, which is probably important to their mental state going into the playoffs. But the Stingrays proved at the end of the game they were more than capable of competing in that game. Perhaps for a little calmer win, they might have been putting on a few more points. Connor, mate, appreciate your time today. Great call and a great game of women's football for 2019.
Great to watch, yes.
We've got the men's game coming up very soon, scheduled to kick off at 6 o'clock, 40 minutes away. Yep. We're going to take a break. We'll see you for kickoff for the same two teams, just in a different division.